And yes, I like to think I still am young at heart, and I realise that pretty much I have shoes in my cupboard that are now older than some of the news reporters in our Cougar. But as I said, I try and stay young at heart, and I promised my mum I'll never now use the word elderly in any report discussing a lady over the age of 65. That's the way it goes. I can see a few nods in the room. It's so wonderful to see so many of you here today, and I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land. The past, the present, and those coming in. And also the sorrow that has come with the sharing of this land, and hope that in the future we can share with a sense of justice and partnership. Gambaros too, I'd like to take a minute to thank the wonderful staff and this beautiful venue. So many people have volunteered their time and effort to put on today. This place certainly holds a very special place in my heart. My husband and I were sharing this morning over brekkie a laugh that he brought me here on our first date 14 years ago. And I thought it went swimmingly. You know those nights, you took a leg off a chair and they're still packing up around you thinking, geez, when are these people going to leave? But in hindsight, I committed two of the cardinal sins of the first date rule book, and the girls will get this. I discussed how much I wanted kids. And I also cracked the lobster. Now, it's not a euphemism, blokes. I literally cracked a lobster, which women know, particularly on a first date, you do not eat anything messy that's going to get in your teeth, that's going to cause you to smell. So we had the first date. He dropped me home and said goodnight, first date kiss. And I went upstairs and thought, that was great. I think he's actually going to call me back. And anyway, I looked in the mirror, and to my horror was this piece of white flesh sitting on what I thought was my nicely groomed hair. Needless to say, something went right, and we're about to celebrate our 10-year wedding anniversary. And we're going to do that here at Gambaros. We have some very, very special guests in the room this afternoon, and I would like to take a moment to welcome Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk, also the Minister for Arts. I'd also like to welcome the Honourable Peter Dutton, the Federal Member for Dixon, Federal Minister for Immigration and Border Protection, and representative today for our Prime Minister. And those of you who know, Lawrence Mooney will be here later. I don't know if you've heard this, Minister, but I'd like to see you two maybe go hammer and tong on the stage. Looking forward to that. Please welcome the Honourable Shannon Fentiman, the Minister for Communities, Women and Youth, Minister for Child Safety, and Minister for the Prevention of Domestic and Family Violence. I don't know how she keeps up with all that, I can barely say it. Commissioner Cheryl Varden, the Chief Executive and Principal Commissioner at the Queensland Family and Child Commission. Mr. Michael Hogan, who is the Director General, Department of Communities, Child Safety and Disability Services, and also Order of Australia and Australian Police Medal recipient, Bob Atkinson, who is the Commissioner of the Royal Commission into Institutional Responses to Sexual Abuse. A little bit of obligatory housekeeping, the bathrooms are over this way, and I've been asked to tell you all, in case of an emergency, move calmly down the stairs and gather at Caxton Street, where I'm thinking if there is a drama, there's plenty of watering holes to calm your nerves and you'll all be fine. Our first guest needs no introduction to those of you who know Bravehearts. She's a tireless warrior for child protection over more than 2 decades, and is determined to make Australia safe for children from sexual predators. Please put your hands together for founder of Bravehearts and the recipient of the Member of the Order of Australia, Hetty Johnston.